Mama's coming for you. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and happy Mother's Day. Today we have a movie reaction, a donation reward from Venom, specifically requested for today. And that is Serial Mom. Serial, by the way, spelled with an S as in serial killer, not as in breakfast cereal. Though that would be an interesting movie in and of itself. What if your mom was a cereal mascot? Questions to ponder. But for now, let's move on with this. So, serial mom. A serial killer who is also a mom, which I feel like is pretty unfortunately common. This I've heard many stories of mothers who have very unfortunately killed people, not only just their own families, which I really hate those stories for obvious reasons, but have actually gone on like killing sprees even for their families in some cases. But yeah, the stories where it's like mothers like kill their own children and stuff, like drown them in bathtubs and all, those always just like make me really fucking depressed actually. Because it's like, Jesus fuck. I did not want to hear that. Let me curl up into a ball and just cry. It's like, I think part of it, especially after having come out as trans and everything, is that I want to be a mom. And I mean, I've always wanted to be a parent, but I definitely really want to be a mom now. And so I think it's like, it kind of like really bothers me hearing stories about mothers who do that kind of shit, because it's like, that's like really fucking horrible. And it's like, no mother should ever do that kind of shit to her children. Or anyone really, but especially in that case. It's just like, how do you even like get yourself to that point? Because it's like, how are you not like just super protective and loving of your kids to the point where you would be even willing to even think about killing them? That's so fucking horrible. And I know there's many different cases as to why that could be, from mental illness that's been left unchecked and whatnot, to just various other things that has like caused problems, a person having a mental breakdown and snapping, stuff like that. There's a lot of different things, I understand that, but it's just like, you know, it just fucking depresses me, man. So I don't know what this movie is exactly about in that regard, like just a mother that goes on a serial killing spree. Does that involve her kids? Because if so, I'm probably going to get really upset. I'm just saying. um I don't know. I also don't know like what kind of tone this is, because I don't know anything about this movie. I've never heard of it before it was requested. The title makes it sound like a comedy, like you know, one of those goofy comedies where it's like, um oh, my dad's a mummy or something like that. You know, shit like that, where it's just like these stupid comedies that you would see on like Disney Channel or stuff like that, where it's like, oh, this dumb like concept where it's like my parent is like this horror movie type of character archetype. It's just like, that's what the title makes me think of. Serial Mom makes me think of like, oh, this is just going to be silly. But I do know that this movie is rated R, which very much turns me against that idea. It's like, oh, no, movies like that usually aren't rated R. They're usually rated PG, maybe PG 13. But for a movie to be rated R, that probably means that the kills in this are probably going to be like legitimate serial killer kills. And I mean, I don't know, maybe it still will be horror comedy. That's still possible with an R rating. I don't know. It's just, it's hard to say, but that's pretty much all I know. I don't know who's in this. I don't know like what the actual tone or story of the movie is. I don't know because I have, again, never heard of this. All I know is that it's rated R and that it's and what its name is. So this is going to be an interesting watch through. And yeah, like there were a number of movies that Venom said that I could do for Mother's Day, and this was just the one I chose. Um, Also because the other one I was going to choose, I couldn't find a copy of. So yeah, maybe I'll talk to you about that in the on the Discord, Venom. But yeah, this was definitely an interesting idea to go with, but it was requested of me, and why not? I don't do a lot of like themed reactions for a lot of like these smaller gift card holidays, let's be honest. um because a lot of times it's either hard to line things up that way, or it's just the case of I don't want to, if I'm being honest. For one reason or another, it's just like, oh, it's like, it's President's Day. Why would I do a special movie reaction for that? But you know what? I decided, why not? Let's do it this time. We'll do a Mother's Day special of sorts, just for the shits and giggles. Um, so yeah, like I said, I don't know what to expect here, but I say we should just get in and find out. But before we do, I want to remind you all that we have a lot of awesome content to check out on this channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of great series reactions. And on Mondays, we even do YouTube reactions, or YouTube adjacent, at least. Basically, anything that doesn't quite fit into just a series or a movie reaction, whether it be shorts or specials or just regular YouTube videos. Anything like that fits into that slot on Mondays. We also do movie reactions, speaking of, every Saturday and Sunday, such as this. And movie reactions tend to be pretty much all donation rewards, but sometimes I'll slip something else in. We also want to note that I do record the movies during the week and upload them on the weekend. This is just so that every day has something going on for it. I'm also currently doing two different Let's Plays at the moment. On Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we are playing through Spider-Man 2, and on Saturdays, we are playing through Anno Mutationum. With Spider-Man 2, I'm very much enjoying it. It's a great time, and yeah, it's just proven to be really fun. There are some audio issues with parts 1 through 9, especially 5 through 9, but starting in part 10, that all seems to be resolved, so shouldn't be an issue from that point forward. Anno Mutationum is a donation reward Let's Play from Matthew Vasquez. This is every Saturday, and this was specifically donated for to play by Matthew. If you want to know how to donate for Let's Plays via the PS5, all you have to do is check out the announcement video for PS5 game reward months. Check out that video and it'll tell you all the information you need to know about how to donate for a Let's Play if you want to see me play a specific game and whatnot on the channel. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty easy, and a lot of great stuff on the channel now and coming in the future. But all of that being said, we are just going to get into this. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction because, yes, we do redirect all of our reactions on this channel. I know. You may prefer to just watch it on the channel itself, on the YouTube video itself, but you know how YouTube's copyright system is. It's not great. In fact, it's actually pretty bad. And because of that, I just want to try and avoid getting any possible channel strikes, or even worse, getting the channel terminated. Because I've dealt with that before, do not want it to happen again. So because of that, I'm just playing it safe and redirecting everything to another site. But on the plus side, that does mean all of you, and yes, I mean all of you, get to see the full unedited reaction for completely free. No paywalls, no Patreon. You don't even have to sync up your own copy. That's how free it is, and that's how full and unedited it is. All you have to do is go to the description below and follow the link to the reaction and watch. Full, unedited, uncut, just completely free. And after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts. And not only will contain spoilers to the episode, or to the movie in this case, but will also contain just my general thoughts on it and maybe anything else I need to say before the video ends. So it's always worth checking it out. But, once again, thank you, as always, so much for tuning in. And for now, I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I think it would have been funnier if instead of Suzanne Summers, or rather, if it was going to be Suzanne Summers, I think it would have been funnier if Suzanne Summers herself played Beverly, or instead they got Kathleen Turner to play herself as well. I think it would have just been more meta and funny that way, leaning into the satire. But just as a little fun fact for you, if you didn't know, Kathleen Turner, who is Beverly in this, is also the voice of Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Just a fun little fact for you there, in case you didn't know. But I also want to look up something. You know that band that was playing, the punk band that helped kill that poor kid, whose only real crimes, I guess, were not wearing a seatbelt, which, by the way, is dangerous, but not worthy of being murdered like that over, and, you know, being into porn because he's a teenager and teenagers are into porn. Adults are into porn. People are into porn. Who cares? It's like that's not a crime or anything. He didn't deserve to die. I mean, a lot of the victims didn't deserve to die, but he really didn't deserve to die. But I was looking, I looked up that band because I wanted to know if this was a real band, and it is. Though they go by a different name, obviously. Camel Lips was their name in the movie, but the real band is L7, an all-female punk rock band from LA. They were apparently active between 1985 and 2001, but then took a 13-year break before coming back in 2014 and are currently active today. Though I assume with like different musicians to a point. Like it mentions that they had like past members, and also probably not all the same bandmates were there from the original run to the new run. But yeah, L7 is associated with the grunge movement of the late 80s and early 90s. And I think that's pretty interesting. They even have their own documentary that came out in 2016. So this movie was not quite what I expected. Like, even if I did kind of go into it expecting the comedy angle, but not to this degree. It's like this was full-on satirical black comedy. And it was actually really fucking funny. Like, the meta jokes, the absurdity of it, like, it's so absurd. It starts off pretty weird and pretty, like, crazy and everything. Like, it doesn't even take long. Like, it's like, what, 10-15 minutes when the first murder happens, the teacher? And it's like, it's very clear, like, even before that, she's like, calling Dottie, I think it is, on the phone and like cussing her out and shit. And it's like it doesn't wait. It doesn't like build up to it. It's just kind of right there at the beginning. The only stuff that's like slightly beforehand is just showing a little bit of her like good mom next door kind of facade, which isn't even really a facade. And it says this is based off a true story, but I couldn't find, like, any, like, evidence of that. I'm wondering if that was just, like, a joke as part of the satire. Because I couldn't find, like, anything that actually said anything about, like, a true story aspect to this. But yeah, it's like the good girl kind of vibe she gives off is not like an act or anything. Like it's like that's how she is. But it's like she has two sides to her. She has the good girl side and then the mischievous bad girl side. Um and the bad girl side seems to only come out when people slight her or her family. When they are like, rude or inconsiderate or don't do anything in regards to her moral code. It's just like it's stupid ass petty fucking things as well. Like the entire white after Labor Day thing, it's like the fuck. And of course it's like you have things like the one woman who was rude to her son at the video store. It's like these dumb petty reasons, not actual reasons to kill a person by any means. And it's like hell. The one guy, the friend Scotty, I think his name was. He's only killed because she's upset over and over again, constantly, that he doesn't wear a seatbelt, and then because he also saw her kill the other lady. That's it. And it's like I like how this makes fun of the sensationalism of serial killers, because that's absolutely a thing. If you didn't know, there's like a couple years back or something, they released a documentary on Netflix about Ted Bundy. The actor who played Quicksilver played him. One of the actors who played Quicksilver, not Aaron Taylor Johnson, the other one. But he played him, and it's like the movie got like this huge sensationalism about it, and it like there were like fans of the movie and people like are asking, "Is there going to be a sequel?" And it's like, the fuck. It's just like, oh my god, and shit like this happens. It's so fucking stupid, but it actually happens. People sensationalize serial killers, especially ones who they consider like to be attractive. It happens a lot more than you would think, and it's really fucked up and weird and just not okay, really, at all. Um, and of course, like sensationalism in media has always been a big thing, even with other things as well. Like even Jordan Peele tackled the idea of sensationalism in media in regards to his movie. Oh my god, what is it called? Nope. Nope. His newest movie tackles sensationalism in Hollywood and stuff like that. So it's like it is a big problem with not only how Hollywood portrays things, but how fans who shouldn't be fans of something, but also just general people who engage in this media, what they take from it and how they react to it and all. The way it's done in this movie obviously is silly as fuck, but that's the joke. It's taking it to kind of to its extreme. Like the movie is extremely goofy. Like there's certain scenes where it's just like this is fucking hilarious and I love it so much, but also it's like obviously crazy and insane and fucked up. Like Beverly beating the one woman to death with a leg of lamb to the tune of Annie is fucking stupidly hilarious. Like I'm surprised I was able to keep myself from like just bursting into uproarious laughter. Like I was actively trying not to like lose my mind. But it's like I still it's so funny. I think it's because I also called that it was going to happen. It's just like, oh my god, they actually did that. She actually killed her to the song "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow," and the timing of her hitting her was in tune to the song, and it's just like, how do you even come up with this shit, John Waters? Also, I found out John Waters, by the way, was the voice of Ted Bundy in that tape that the father found. It wasn't actually a recording of Ted Bundy. So I think that's probably a good thing, that they didn't actually like put Ted Bundy's real voice in this, that they didn't like kind of give him any attention with that. I mean, it was like, I guess, a recreation still, but they refused to like actually give his voice even a platform in this film. Um, but this was insanity. And it's just like it's just wild. The way she discredited everyone at the trial, it's like, oh my god, how is she even doing this? And nobody's noticing. Like, nobody notices she's leaning down in her chair. Like, even if you don't notice her spreading her legs underneath the desk, you don't notice she's leaning down in her chair. You don't notice that the guy on the jury table is clearly looking down and clearly agitated by something. Or agitated is probably the wrong word, but, you know, clearly focused on something else. I feel like everyone would notice that. Right? I know that's the joke. I understand that's the joke, but still. And like obviously the one girl coming in like too fucking high to actually be a credible testimony is like, okay, that one is not even on Beverly. Like that's just this girl coming into a courtroom high as a kite. That's on her. But it's like, then you, how did she even get that? I know the garbage men were on her side, which by the way is fucking wild in and of itself. I know they were on her side. But how did she plan to get that magazine from from the police officer's trash? How did she do that? Like, she would have been, by the time the trial came around, it said it was 5 months later, right? Honestly, that seems like that's even a bit quick. It usually, when a person's going to go to trial, they're in prison. They're being kept in like holding for a while because like the trial process is weirdly long and it takes a while to actually get to trial for some fucking reason, at least here in America. Um it's like she would have had no way of setting this up because she would have had to plan out the fact that she was going to call to be her own attorney, which, okay, maybe she could have done that. But then she would have also had to have had contact with specifically those two um, garbage men while she was in prison, which even if she had a phone call she could have given to them, there was no way she'd be able to plan this out. That would not have been allowed. And I doubt they would have let for someone who's being accused of being a serial killer, I doubt they would have let those two visit her. And again, they would not have gotten away with being able to talk about a plan like that in that situation. So how the fuck did they do that? Also, this movie's like from the 90s. I understand that. The chicks with dicks thing being used as a punchline very much did not age well. Of course, neither did the Bill Cosby line. Ugh. But the chicks with dicks line, it's like that one did bother me a bit because for obvious reasons. To put it simply, I am a chick with a dick. Um, it was used as a punchline, as a joke. Because for, you know, a long time, trans people, especially trans women, were not looked at as much else than a punchline or, in a lot of cases, a fetish. And yeah, that both of those were very much represented here. And that's just like, it didn't age well. But again, this movie's from like, I think it said 96. Let me check real quick. I should still have it open on Google here. 94. So yeah, it's not surprising. It's just, it's disappointing. It's like I've said in the past, it's like we'll react to movies on here that just did not age well in certain aspects, and I've seen movies even on my own time that did not age well in a lot of aspects. And you don't even necessarily realize it at the time, because at the time that's normal for a lot of media to show. But then you like go in, oh, it's years later, decades later even, and it's like, oh, that did not work. That was not okay. It happens. And I understand that. And I understand that like this kind of joke would not be gotten away with today. Which is good, obviously. But it's like that was, yeah, not great. Um and then it's like it's just wild how silly this movie was at times. And it's like I get like maybe the idea of like the family trying to like be nice and be on her side so they can appease her and not like anger her or anything, but it's just like I don't think they were ever in danger for one. I don't think she would ever actually do anything to them. And for two, it's like you're you're just going to go along with it because you're scared. It's like I don't know. It seems dumb, obviously, and it is dumb. It's very dumb. The kills were creative. I will give that. I've talked about this before on the channel, but I like when kills get creative, when they get unique. And they were actually really creative in this. And I feel like satirical black comedies like this are kind of like a good source for creative kills. Because they're trying to be goofy and silly and funny, and so they get more creative and interesting with the kills in order to kind of sell that. Like pushing an air conditioner out the window onto a dude's head. It's like, I would not have come up with that idea, but it's such a fun idea. Now, obviously, in the case of, you know, fiction and whatnot, do not do that, obviously. Beating someone to death with a leg of lamb to the tune of the song "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow" from Annie, that's ridiculously creative. And some of them were pretty simple, like scissors to the midsection. But then it's like you have a midsection stab with a fire poker that basically looks like a harpoon. And it's like, what? A dude is set on fire and everything. That's not that creative. But it happens in the middle of a punk rock concert where the musicians help like ignite the fire higher with alcohol, and everybody's chanting "Cereal Mom" in support. It's like that's what makes it creative. It's just like how do you think up this stuff? Like what kind of cryptid is John Waters to come up with these ideas, if he's the one who even came up with them? I don't fucking know. I mean, he's the director, not the writer, I guess. Unless he did write this too. Actually, now I'm going to look that up now. Was he the writer or was there a different writer? Oh, directed and written by John Waters. There you go. There you go. He was the writer as well. So yeah, what kind of cryptid is he to write this kind of shit? Who comes up with things like this? It's just like, what the fuck? And it's genuinely funny. It's genuinely super funny. And it's in obviously a dark and twisted way. But it's like, this is just okay. How have I never heard of this movie before? I have never heard anyone mention this movie before. Literally the first time I heard of it was when you donated for it. And it's just like, no one talks about this? I could at least see this getting a cult following. In fact, I think the Wikipedia article here says it did. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's regarded as a cult classic. I've never heard anyone even mention this movie, to my knowledge. Like, if I had, and if I had heard, like, even little bits about it, I probably would have seen this years ago. Because it's like, this kind of movie is up my alley. I can kind of dig a good, dark, satirical comedy. It's like, yeah, it's fun and stupid. It's a way to look at the darkness of real life in a way that doesn't upset you. You know what I mean? Because it's done in such a wacky, goofy, over the top way. It makes real life topics like this that are very upsetting and dark and twisted digestible. And I think that's what I kind of appreciate about movies like this. That it allows you to think about and talk about these really dark subjects without it, like, fucking up your mental health. um and I think that's I think that's pretty fair, because you should be able to think about this stuff because this kind of shit happens. But if it's too, like, harsh towards your mental health and is going to fuck you up, then it's like that's not a good thing. That's not something you want. It's just it's a good way to digest this kind of topic and give it a highlight where it needs to be, because this kind of stuff does definitely need to be talked about to a degree. Um, Weirdly enough, the part of the movie that actually disturbed me the most, or upset me the most, I guess is a better way, because it didn't really disturb me. It just upset me in terms of, like, I just don't like seeing or hearing that. The dentist drill. It's weird to say. It's really fucking weird to say that was the thing that, like, got to me the most out of anything. But like I explained, or was trying to explain while watching, the the sound of a dentist drill freaks me out. It honestly just kind of upsets me. And it's not even because, oh, I'm scared of it or it, like, brings back bad memories. It's like, no, it's just a really irritating shrill sound that freaking bothers the shit out of me. It's genuinely just the sound of it. It's just the most irritating sound. Well, maybe not the most, but you know what I mean. There was another part that actually, like, I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was another part that I had a notable reaction to. And I was, like, in the middle of saying something, and I don't remember what it was that happened. But I was, like, literally in the middle of saying something. Something happened that caught my attention, took my attention off of it, and I had to continue speaking, like, a moment or two later. And I can't for the life of me remember what that was. I'm trying to see, like, if I just scroll through this, if I can find it real quick, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. It wasn't them eating the chicken, though that was wild. I don't think it was, at least. I can't think of it. When you're watching a movie and you have all this going through your head, you're gonna forget about, like, certain parts. But there was a part, like, where something happened, and I'm in the middle of, like, trying to get a thought out, and I just, like, stop it. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was the dog licking the lady's feet. The Be Kind Rewind lady, the woman who wouldn't be kind and rewind. Yeah, I think that was it. Um, she refused to rewind the tape, and she, like, has this dog and everything in her house. She's eating the sandwich with the lamb and everything, and she's sitting there and she's, like, barefoot, and she's, like, having the dog lick her feet, and it's just like she almost seems like she's getting off from it. It's like, and it just caught me so off guard. It's like, what the fuck is happening? It just, like, was like a total. Even amongst the rest of this film, it was a total what the fuck. It's like, did Quentin Tarantino direct this scene? Like, what the fuck is happening here? Why is there this weird, really fucking weird dog foot fetish scene? Because it's just really, like, ewy. And it's like, dogs will, like start to, like, randomly lick your hands and stuff if you're near them and stuff, like, sometimes. Or if you're eating, like, and have something on your fingers, they'll lick your fingers sometimes. It happens. Dogs do shit like that. But, like, to be, like, specifically calling your dog over for the express purpose of licking your feet and then seemingly getting off from it, it's like, what is even happening? Why is this in the movie? It just caught. I was trying to get a thought out during that scene, and it just caught me so fucking off guard. Um, Honestly, like I said, this movie caught me off guard in a lot of ways. It again, I kind of called and expected it to be like this comedic horror film and everything, but just the way it was paced, the way it was written, the way it was like handled and everything was not what I expected. I didn't expect it to be as wacky and silly as it was. I thought it was going to be just a simple horror comedy. Instead, it's like a full blown, ridiculous, over the top satire. And it's just like to such a heavy level. Um, I think all the actors did good for what their role was. I'll say that. Matthew Lillard pretty much was just Matthew Lillard. It's like he's played this same kind of character in like everything that I've seen him in practically. Like, honestly, if you watch this, is he really that different from Stu in Scream? Like, honestly, the obsession with horror movies, the weird way he says and acts things out. He's a little, weirdly enough, less over the top than he was in Scream, which is fucking weird to think about. Um, but at the same time, it's like it's very much that kind of character. Um, it's just a wild, weird movie that I just was not expecting. Um, and I went into this knowing it's like, oh, we're doing a Mother's Day movie, and it's a horror, probably horror comedy. It's like, oh, okay, that's a weird choice. I feel like some people would think as it is, but I thought it was a fun idea. Like the idea of something like this for a Mother's Day special, I thought was like fun. And again, it was a suggestion from Venom, from the donator, to do that specifically for this Mother's Day reaction. Since this movie, I mean, I'm recording this on Friday, but you're seeing this Sunday. You're seeing this on Mother's Day, so there you go. But yeah, this movie was like just ridiculously silly and really funny, really entertaining. I would not have been able to guess anything that was going to happen next. Um, I will say, okay, so aside from the fact that the Chicks with Dicks magazine was very outdated, this thing isn't something that's so much outdated as it is just something that I've seen in various movies that is just fucking weird and kind of gross. Though I guess that you could say it's outdated. Though I mean it wasn't right back in that time either, and everybody knew it wasn't right in that time. Like, okay, a teenage girl kind of flirting with an adult man. It's like teenagers do stupid shit, and yeah, that can happen. But the adult man flirting back and eventually getting with the teenage girl to the point where they're making out and everything, it's like fucking ew. Like, why is that in here? Like, what the fuck? That's so. I know. Again, I know this is a satire. It's supposed to be ridiculous and over the top, but that really served no purpose. Like, yeah, it was set up from the very beginning with her kind of flirting with the one cop and everything, but it really still didn't serve any purpose. Like, it had no effect on the satire of the rest of the film and what it was going for. It wasn't connected to anything else in that regard. Why was it in here? It's just like, just to show that the cop was maybe corrupt or whatnot, that the cop was not perfect too or something. I don't know. Or the photographer, like the one that actually got with her is the photographer, right? But it's like, well, I mean, we could already tell the photographer was kind of skeezy because of trying to, profit off of this entire thing in the first place. So it's just like, what the fuck? Why did you include that? It's not as it's really weird, and it's just like a big why. It's not as like personally insulting as the Chicks with Dicks was, but it's more so it's just creepy and weird, and it's just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't understand. It's it's gross, but I don't even know how the like case of of this being a black comedy, of this being a satire. I don't even know how that could be like excused in that way, because I don't know like what they were trying to go for with it. It just felt weird and gross and skeezy, and I didn't really like that part either. But for the most part, I liked the movie. I really did. It's just those couple of things that bothered me a lot, and it's just like, I guess, sign of the times. It's like, yeah, shit like that. It's like should not be acceptable, but you know. Either way, I guess tell me what you thought in the comments below. And for now, I just want to remind you all that we do have a lot of other content on this channel that doesn't include like weird shit like that, and that usually isn't this crazy. Usually, sometimes it is, but most of the time probably not. Monday through Friday, we have a lot of great series reactions. And on Mondays, we also do YouTube or YouTube adjacent reactions. Basically, stuff like specials, one offs, shorts, or just specifically stuff that is on YouTube. That kind of stuff that doesn't usually fit in with a series reaction or a movie reaction. That is in that slot on Mondays. We also do movie reactions such as this on Saturdays and Sundays. They're recorded earlier in the week, but they're uploaded during the weekends just to make sure that everything has, every day has something going on for it. We are also currently going through two separate Let's Plays on the channel. First, on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we are playing through Spider-Man 2. Really enjoying this so far. The first 9 parts have some notable audio issues, especially 5 through 9. But starting with episode 10, or part 10 of the Let's Play, the audio issues should be fixed. We are also recently starting through Anno Mutationem. This is a Let's Play on Saturdays, and it is a donation reward Let's Play for Matthew Vasquez. So thank you to Matthew Vasquez for donating, and if you wish to know how to donate for a Let's Play specifically, check out the announcement video titled PS5 Game Reward Month. Check that out. It'll give you all the information. You could search it up on the channel search. You should be able to find it without too much issue. It'll tell you exactly how to donate for that, exactly what you need to do, all that jazz. So, yeah, thank you so much once again for tuning in. And again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this film. For the time being, though, yeah, for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. So I'll see you all next time.